So, back in January, I was admitted to hospital with COVID-19 and pneumonia. So, part of that, to say, I'm actually diabetic. So, me contracting pneumonia as well would have been I would have been a very high risk patient. So basically, just to share my testimony and to just share my story of what happened to me. So I was admitted to hospital in January, and when the ambulance was called for me, my first encounter with when I first called the ambulance, I was triaged and was told that after everything I told them, one, I was experiencing diarrhea, I not eating, I lost my sense of smell, my sense of taste, I had a pain from this side of my head all the way through to this side of my face. I had back pain in my hip, and I, just constant coughing as well that I kept experiencing throughout the whole time, becoming ill. I was told that an ambulance won't be sent to me, and that, the way my condition got so bad, when the lady actually, said to me on the phone that I'm not deteriorating enough for her to send an ambulance to me, I was so weak. I remember being so weak. I didn't even have the strength to, as Jamaicans say, to cuss her out, basically. Cuss her. I didn't even have the strength to do that because I was so weak. I just remember saying to her, okay, it's fine, no problem. And I remember putting down the phone. I had my friend with me at the time, and my friend said to me, call 111. And we called 111, and the ambulance, we went through all the triaging again with this new person. And I don't know what happened. I really don't know what happened. But from that triage on the second call, this lady said to me, I'm going to send you an ambulance. In saying that, when I had a conversation with my friend about that whole experience, she said to me, Kerrian, do you know that if you did not call 111, you would have probably died in your sleep? Because the fact that I had pneumonia, and I didn't know I had pneumonia, even the two calls that I made to the ambulance service, they didn't know I had pneumonia. It was discovered when I got to the hospital. And what I kind of wanted to share, how God was so amazing through this whole thing. I was in such a bad place that I didn't even know I was in such a bad place. That's the joke of this. And every time I reflect, I don't understand how it did not connect with me that I was in a bad place. When the ambulance came for me, and I said to the ambulance, please can you take me to Lewisham Hospital? And he said to me, oh, I have to take you to King's because your complexion's now changed and you're going to have like a 2-hour wait, whereas King's, they will see you straight away. When he said that to me, I said to him, okay. So when the ambulance guy, took me into the ambulance, and I remember he was checking me over, and then obviously we now drove off in the ambulance, and I remember hearing the sirens, and in my head I remember saying to myself, oh, sirens, it's not that bad, is it? But for some reason it still wasn't connected to me that I was in such a dark place. The fact that they put the sirens on, they have to rush me to the hospital. But throughout that process, at no point did God make me feel fearful. I wasn't connecting that I'm in trouble. And when they got me to the hospital, I must say, I didn't even have to wait 1 second. They saw me straight away. When I got into the hospital, and they had me in this room, and it, the 3 walls, but then you have all glass windows, a glass door. There were like 6-7 doctors just outside watching me, watching the monitor, watching me. Then you have like 2 of them come in. One's on the monitor, one's checking me out, making sure I'm okay and everything, and doing all my vitals and stuff like that. And I remember when they came to do the x-ray, the chest x-ray, and when they came back to me, it felt like 15-20 minutes, and they said to me, I've got pneumonia. And immediately I remember going, pneumonia, where did that come from? And I mean, there was a slight shock in me. I remember feeling shocked and thinking, oh my God, because I knew this is serious now. And I remember I had on this oxygen mask, and I remember when they said that to me, I then immediately took a picture of myself, sent it to my family and my pastor, Pastor Dennis, and said, please pray for me. I'm in the hospital. And all I want to say in that moment, I don't know if it's within seconds, minutes, but I remember whatever that shocking sensation that I felt, God just dissimulated it. He totally just took it away from me. Like, all I can describe that moment is that he cushioned me. He just cushioned me in such a way. I didn't have no fear. I didn't have any anxiety. God is just so amazing. He just took all of that fear away from me. And I think maybe if I had fear, maybe I would have deteriorated even more. I would have got worse through fear, because when fear grips you, it really can cause a lot of damage, psychological damage, and even internal damage to the body. Like, the body can start shutting down and things like that. But God said, no, I am his child, and his child is in trouble, and he's gonna step in. And he knew that I needed him at that time, and he attended to my call in my heart when I prayed and asked the Lord to send the right people to look after me. God showed up, and he showed up big. He showed up big. And the reason why I said he showed up big, when I was deteriorating, towards the 3 days in or 4 days in, and they then sent me to ICU, because they obviously couldn't manage me anymore. They need to send me to a specialized team. And he sent these nurses to me, and I didn't even know these nurses were praying for me. I call them both. One's from South Africa, that's Sister Sarah, and the other one's from Jamaica, Sister Carleen. And there was times, when I was in the hospital and I was listening to my music, in my earphones, and listening to my worship songs, and people are sending me songs, worship music, and uplifting and encouraging words. I was listening to quietly in my quiet time, but then there was the day that I was leaving the hospital, and Sister Sarah came to me, and she said, oh, Kerrian, I want to tell you something. And I said, oh, what is it? And she said to me, I remember when you came into onto the ward. And I said, yeah? She said, yeah, you were in a very, very dark place. It was in a dark place. And she said she started praying for me. She started praying. And she said, she's an agency staff, and somehow God made sure this woman was on her assignment every day that I was in that hospital, because agency staff, they kind of just do their shifts and they move on to the next shift and they move into another ward or move into another hospital. But God assigned her to my life for the time that I was in that hospital. And I know God was orchestrating things, and God was in the midst of it all, because when I was when I was being discharged, the day I was being discharged, I remember taking out my headphones out of my phone and started playing some gospel music, but I was playing it quietly. And I think at that moment, God said to Sister Sarah, you can go and speak to her now. And the reason why I said that, she didn't know I was a Christian, but yet she was praying for me. She was praying for my life. And when she came and told me that, when she remembered when I came into the hospital and she started praying for me, she said, every medication that I gave you, I prayed over it. Every water that I gave you to drink, I prayed over it. Every time I came to monitor you and check on you, I was praying over you. When I go on my breaks, I was praying for you. And I told her, I remember the night when I came into the hospital and they told me I had pneumonia. And I said to her, I did pray and ask the Lord, quietly in my heart, that please send the right people to look after me. And I believe, without a shadow of a doubt, I believe He sent her to me. And I said to her, I believe He sent you to me, because He knew I'm going to need somebody to stand in the gap and pray for me. Although I had people outside praying for me, and I had different religions praying for me. I had Jehovah's Witness praying for me. I had Pentecostal people praying for me. I had Seventh-day Adventists praying for me. I had Muslims praying for me, because I have friends in all over. And when they heard the situation I was in, everybody just stepped into the gap and was interceding on my behalf. And my little niece, oh my God, my little niece Jordan, this little girl, she's 11 years old, and when she heard that I was in hospital, I'm her auntie, the prayer that Jordan put through for me, I know that God could not ignore Jordan. Honestly, the prayer, Jordan was so specific about my healing and my restoration. She called me by my name. There was a point in her, because my family, they recorded her, and there was a point in the prayer, she was asking them, what's the name of the hospital my auntie's in? And I hear them telling her, and she lives in Jamaica, and she was like, Lord, please go and visit my auntie.
I want you to cover, Lord, lift her up, Lord. She's not supposed to be under the grave now, Lord Jesus. I want you to raise her up, Lord Jesus. Hallelujah. Because we're going to bring her to the cross now, Jesus. We're going to bring her to We're going to bring her in front of your throne, Lord Jesus. Because you will put her trust in, Lord. Your King of Kings and the Lord of Lords and the conquering Lion and the of Jesus. Because you can make the impossible possible, Lord. So as we reach out to you, Lord, God and protect her, because
they mean it from the bottom of their heart. Do you know what I mean? Whatever they're requesting of their Father, they mean it. And God sees them in such a pure way, And I really just want to thank Jordan. And I have thanked her, I sent her a long prayer, a long message, and a long voice message as well. And I always, always thank her and always remind her that, I'm forever so grateful for her, for praying for her auntie the way she prayed for her auntie, because it is what her prayer that saved me and brought me back to life. Even though I didn't know I was dying, her prayer brought me back to life. And there's so much more to this story, and I'm trying to kind of remember everything. Even Sister Carlene, when she said to me, she messaged me and checked on me and said to me, Kerrian, God favored you. He favored you in such a way that, a lot of people come in ITU and never come out alive. They don't walk away from this thing. And that really touched me and showed me that God must have a purpose for my life, because there's no way He would save me like this for no apparent reason. Who am I for God to just save me from something like this? You know, who am I? So that tells me that there's something very important about me that God wants to utilize. And my family also said it, you know, even my older niece said to me, Auntie, if you never believe that this family don't love you, believe me, they love you now, because you are the glue to this family. You are the glue, because from baby to adults, we're praying for your life. All of us were praying for your life, and we love you so much that we know that if something happened to you, if you left us, we wouldn't know what we would do with ourselves. And again, I have been asking God about my life and how do I fit into this family and stuff and things like that. And I think it was this point where God showed me, all the years I've been asking him, he answered me and showed me that, Kerrian, you have a purpose in this family. You have a reason to be here. And my niece confirmed it, because she used the word, Auntie, you are the glue to this family. And it's amazing to know that I am of importance. I'm of importance to my family, and I'm of importance to God, because he has something great for me. And that's amazing. Just to know that God has something great for me. I just thank him, honestly. I just thank him. I just thank him. Sorry, I'm getting emotional again. I just wanted to share my testimony with you guys, and thank you all for all the prayers you've put up for me and standing in the gap for me when I was in the hospital with COVID and pneumonia. This is the end result of your prayers.